falling in love with the process and the dedication and the outcomes of what it is to build a startup. So give yourselves a pat on the back and a round of applause because you guys are just really awesome that way. And you guys are what fuels us to keep doing what we do, as well as all the volunteers and the people who have helped you along the way. Thank you, thank you. So we're excited to listen to you for this week, this afternoon, and there will be 6 teams, and we're looking forward to hear from you. All right, thank you so much, Golden. Let's give her a round of applause. Now, to present, to welcome, to acknowledge our judges, here they are. So let's first call on the head of operations of Cubo. Everyone, let's give her a round of applause. It's Natasha. For our second judge, he is an angel investor and enterpriser, also from Millennium Limited. Everyone, please help me welcome Mr. Anderson Tan. She is the General Manager of Manila Academy. Please welcome Ms. Nina Kaiser. She's the Executive Director of IKEA Space, Ms. Diane Tapio. And lastly, the Executive Chairman of AMIAN Global Strategies, Mr. Wilson Del Mario. Alright, so just to run through everyone, as I think Goldie already mentioned this one on the first day, there are 3 criteria: validation, business model, execution, and design. So how does the pitching work for this afternoon? First one, every team, you have 5 minutes. I hope you were able to practice this one. And then we have a 3-minute Q&A. And then team on that one, it's Q&A. The next team can come here to plug in your machine. And feel free to post on social media once again. It's Startup Weekend MNL. So here's our order. First one is Kind Act of PH. Second team is Curate Tours. Third team is Course Your Passion. Fourth team, TrainLink. Fifth team is Pet Malu. And the last one is In Talent. Alright, so let's call on our first team. Please help me welcome Team Kind-Up.H.
Hello, kid. Who would present it? And just hold on and you can.
I thought I'm gonna have like okay, I also have to hold the microphone. You have HDMI na? Okay. May gamitin mo pala. Log in. Yeah, isn't it?
Gusto mo pa?
What's that one for? No, the was the coach. Yeah, but she's our president. So we took over Paul's position. And then, since that was the flagship, and then it was made to make sure that that would happen. Focused on that. So good thing that they're increasing number of players. Started maybe I need
Edit lang. Kasi market kasi may
Hi guys. Hi guys, good afternoon to all of you. So just a quick background about this app. Initially this was my pitch, but we all collaborated in working on this model. So my team and I were all contributed for this. This originated from, because I really like the Pay It Forward movie. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but it's basically paying kindness forward so that it sort of like create a chain. So our app is going to be initially offered at the workplace. So our mission is to disrupt the R&R strategies to retain top talents and to help boost local MSMEs. So currently we have studied the competition with regards to the R&R, and we sort of like thought that that needs to be shaken up a bit. So we thought that it's kind of traditional, and we truly believe that it's something that should adapt to the current needs of the millennials. And why millennials? It is because about half of the Philippine labor force is composed of millennials. It's about 47.1%, so that's close to half of the workforce that we have right now. So in other words, they're the workforce of tomorrow, so we definitely have to focus on these people. And how do we make them happy? Actually, right now, there is a study that they're going to be creating after just minimum of, or rather maximum of 2 years. So therefore, they're not really happy with their job. They're just doing company hopping. I mean, obviously, this does not apply to all millennials, but this is what the study's telling us. So the solution that we have come up with is to make a flexible ecosystem for corporate to strategize their R&Rs. R&Rs, for those who doesn't know, the rewards and recognition system. So currently, as we know, some companies will be giving out like GCs or like free movie tickets or like buffet, or some would be giving like free trip to that certain place. What we will be doing is we will, on this app that we will be offering, it's going to be more options for them, in which I'll be happy to discuss later on. And we will be having the peer-to-peer and real-time recognition of accomplishments, boosting productivity. So right now, the traditional R&R is like top to bottom, so managers assessing the employees. This one is going to be peer-to-peer, so your colleague will be rating you for whatever extra mile or whatever help you've done to that person. So it could be work-related, it could be non-work-related. So it occurred on the workplace, and sort of like it motivates everyone to do some kindness in the workplace. And obviously that has a great impact on the engagement amongst the employees. And of course, pool of data to maneuver HR strategies. So basically, the platform that we have will be providing data to the HR people so that they can actually monitor the activities amongst the exchange of the points. So they will be able to see, okay, how come, because here's what's going to happen, all right? So for us to encourage the companies to sign up, we will be giving them like a welcome points. So let's say, for example, they have 500 points per employee for that welcome part. So those employees can actually share those points amongst themselves, whoever have done the good. So let's say, for example, you actually helped me out with something, and it's not your job to go, I was kind of really grateful for that, so I'll be giving you some of my points. And so on and so forth. So this kind of activities will be monitored by HR people, and thus they will be able to identify what kind of they can actually factor that as for their for whoever that they will be promoting, or whoever needs some extra help in terms of who could potentially resign, because obviously if someone is not getting some points, obviously there could be something wrong going on with that. Now, the other solution of broader problem that we wanted to target is right now, because of globalization, the MSMEs are being affected by that. So, as you know, MSMEs are, they're actually, the allocation for the employment are larger than the large corporations. Therefore, if they're not doing well and their lifespan is just like after 2 years they're going to be closing down, it's not really helping the country as a whole. Like, as we all know, if a local startup scene is really growing, that has a direct impact on the country's GDP. So therefore, we have to also make sure that we pay forward and help out these MSMEs. So that's our goal as well. So the solution is we will be providing that platform, which is that app, for these MSMEs to promote their businesses and have. Yeah.
All right.
Do you guys have questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
Any questions?
I'm not sure if you were able to explain how it works.
Yeah, how it works.
Okay. Great question. So basically, so on that app, they have their points. The company will be providing it to them, and then they can share that points amongst themselves because they're the one doing the assessment for their colleagues. That, let's say, you keep transferring the points to one another, and then at the end of the month, you can either do the redemption to our partner merchants, which are the MSMEs to start off, or you can just keep saving that, which up until, let's say, for 5 years time, you can actually redeem it for a different type of rewards that we have, which is basically, because we have uncovered in one of the studies that millennials are resigning because they're not being prepared for leadership roles, and they don't seem to be making an impact at their workplace, which is a very, very alarming study. So that's why they're keep jumping from one company to another. So having a rewards program wherein they will be one of the rewards that we will have is to have like leadership skills training or retreats, so they can go to places and we're going to be tapping into local sustainable resource, and then we can conduct like trainings and help out these people who are redeeming their points through that app.
Do you have an MVP version?
Yes, we do have right here. So.
The Q&A.
So this is the app, and it's loaded here. So the employees will be given points by the company who signed up for that platform. They can share that to make someone's day. Like, let's say you help me out, I gave you this points. You can transfer that, and whatever points you have accumulated, you can redeem that to our partner merchants. Or you can save that. Like, let's say for 5 years time, you could accumulate so much points, and then obviously that's one way to retain the employees as well, because if they will be resigning from that company, the points will be forfeited. And those points, let's say they have reached 50,000 points, they can actually exchange it to what we call the premium reward, something that they cannot get from the current R&R providers, the competitors. They can redeem it for like trainings that we have, which are exclusive only. We will be tapping into industry experts, and something that they cannot just sign up for the regular events or regular trainings or seminars. It's something that's going to be exclusive to those customers, the app users.
Any other last question?
I just want to understand what really is the problem, because I don't know whose pain point really is it. Is it employees' pain point or the MSME's pain point? Who's going to pay for it?
Great question. So initially, to attract the companies, we will be providing them welcome points, and then just so we can see how it will work whenever their employees are starting, sharing points to one another. But after that, obviously, once they see the positive impact in the workplace, they would want to buy the points, because instead of allocating their R&R budgets into buying Sodexo, which is very limited to just certain merchants or like GCs to Starbucks, they can use the points and they can buy the points from this app, from us, and then they can distribute that to their employees, and then their employees will be the one giving it out to their colleagues.
So the companies have the pain point.
Yes, they can purchase the points.
It's the companies.
Yes, it's the companies.
All right. Let's give it up for Kaila.
Thank Thank you so much, Goldie, for taking over.
Here you go.
Sino ba pati? Sige, timer starts.
Alright, hi everyone, good afternoon. So my name is Mark and we are the curator team. You know, I came from Bataan, that's 4 hours away from here. And you know, Bataan plays a very important role in World War II. We have a very unique and interesting stories to tell. And that's not only for Bataan. Most of the provinces where we came from, even Manila has a very unique story to tell. But the sad reality is, most of those stories remain untold. What we want to do is we want to tell the stories of every Filipino through a simple yet innovative application. What? Ladies and gentlemen, Curator, a location-based audio and multimedia tour that promotes history, culture, and places. So how does it work? So Curator is like a Waze, but instead of telling an audible direction, what it does is it tells you, it narrates you a story on the right place, on the right time. So it starts with someone that curates the content. We want people who have an expertise in the local area to prepare the content for us, content that is interesting and that is doable. These people start to identify certain sites. We call them sites. Those are interesting areas based on interest. Like for example, historical sites in Bataan that people can visit. This gamified approach allows our customer to visit those areas on their own pace and their own time. And then once they visited them, it's already a badge of honor that they can share to the rest of their friends in social media. And then, once they are on the site, that's the time that our app detects their GPS location and starts to do a walking audio tour. So what it does is it tells the stories, as I mentioned, on the right place and on the right time. So, do you want to join me on a quick tour? Let's go. Ano niya? Walang audio. Technical. Sorry. Let's play it one more time.
So, ito, meron na yung stuff. Kasi yung nakita ko dito ako.
Ay, nakamute?
Oo, nakamute sa'yo.
Sorry. So let's just have a quick tour. So this is a sample on how to interact with the app and how to deal with it. Right.
Maybe you should pause the time.
Headphones.
You're supposed to practice.
Sorry. All right.
Welcome back to Korea. You are now on the tour site number 2, one of the 10 historical places in BGC. Walk with me and let me take you back in time. On your right is an elegant brick old building that is once held by
So yeah. That's good.
is a local food place and coffee shop. Feel free to go inside and have a look at the remarkable art pieces made from local materials. We will pause the walking tour for now. Make sure to enjoy the place. Join the group exercises. Talk to locals. Wander around and just leave the place on once you're done. Bring out your phone and will activate your camera. Please point your phone to the table in front of you and I will project a 3D image of that state water buffalo from Batangas in 19. Thank you for joining us. Curate Tour, a location-based audio and multimedia tour app for history, culture, and places. It's in the 19.
Okay, so that's basically how the like the creator works. So the major question is, how do we sustain this? Because this is a good data, so how do we sustain this? Right, so our major concept is it's pay per visit. So the good thing about is that we can bring foot traffic direct to the store and we can measure them. So with our minimum assumption of just 10 visits per establishment per day, we can generate 2 million revenue per year. So more of our key differentiator, we want to be on the gap between the agency tours, that's a completely organized tours, and the DIY TripAdvisor based travel. So we want to minimize all of those interactions and make your travel seamless. So we would like to start in Bataan, where we have a very strong foothold, that we have access to market and we have partners existing. And from there, we would like to expand to the next set of markets. This weekend, we validated, we talked to the managers of the stores, we talked to a lot of people, and we kind of validate our initial assumptions. And those are the numbers. All right, our team has combined a lot of years of experiences. And then me personally, I'm part of the NGO that supports the World War II Museum. Thank you, join us.
All right.
Who are your initial target market? What's your niche?
All right. So our initial target market, so after interviewing, we identified that there's a growing number of people who prefer to travel on their own. So we are targeting like the traveling millennials. We can also target those backpackers who initially is interacting with solutions like TripAdvisor, traveling on their own, trying to search on TripAdvisor and trying to customize their own travel. What we want to do is to have this platform, to have a curator, so those people who are in the area can bring them to this location. So if you have heard that the phrase that don't go there is so touristy. So the good thing is that the curator can bring you to a place that's not too touristy but really interesting. It has a good story in it.
What's your customer acquisition model like? How will people know about you?
All right. So initially, we will partner with some establishments where tourists initially located, like hotels, and then also some museums. So we need to capture them first, no? So we need to identify the places where they stay, and from there we start to promote. The good thing is most of the hotels have some tour packages offering, like they do initial partnership with some tour providers, and we can position ourselves on the same as they are. So the good thing about identifying the customer after we identify them, since it's gamified and we encourage most of our users to share their badge of honor when they travel to a certain place, we see a growth by having our users an ambassador of our app. So after identifying the initial customers, we expect it to grow because we expect those initial users to be the ambassador and start sharing. Sure.
So may I just add something and one of the group? So we will do some growth hacking. Like you would have a referral program that you will be given free trips once you have a successful referral of a friend. So if you refer a friend and that friend goes to one trip, then you have a bonus 3 trips. So
Give us an idea of what's a team again. The team composition.
All right. So have a background. Yeah. Team composition. Yeah.
I am a developer of a full stack developer, and for 5 years I've been in the technology field.
And I'm actually in corporate full time. I did different job, and partly I'm 10% entrepreneur working on some startup projects.
Yeah.
Just to answer your question a while ago, there are actually 900,000 SMEs in the Philippines, and about 192,000 is in hotel and accommodation, and another 28,000 is into shops and especially related to tourism.
Yep.
So we got the 2,800 target for the first year, and we were very conservative, targeting only 28 to that 2,000 for our first year. So that's how we got our numbers. It's based from DTI and Philippine Statistics
Authority.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, team curator.
Okay. While our judges are trying to add their scores, the next team can prepare.
Lapel, here. Thanks. Wala pala pa. Good job, Mark. Kuya Calix, kinakabahan ako.
Alright, let's give it up. Of course, your passion.
I think I'm just gonna show these slides as is because I had a technical glitch with my PowerPoint. Okay. Hi everybody, my name is Gab. What if on the last 2 years in high school, you were given enough opportunity to think enough about what course to take? So much so that you're going to pursue it as a career. What if before you make the crucial decision of what course to take, you have an ample discernment assisted by a very experienced mentor? Ladies and gentlemen, I speak in behalf of someone like Miguel, who sits right there. Okay. He's gonna watch this. Miguel is actually a psychology graduate, but a music enthusiast at heart. He told me yesterday that had he known his options or had someone advised him of his options, he would have taken music a long time ago, before he took up psychology, pre-med, and law school. I speak in behalf of 113 scholars of Philippine Science High School that are currently being sued by the Commission of Higher Education for not taking S&T related courses, which is part of their contract obligations. And most importantly, I speak in behalf of myself, a chemical engineer who is now currently taking or running my own digital marketing agency. So obviously the government spent 300,000 pesos for me to study chemical engineering for 6 years, only to end up in a different industry. Obviously there is a gap. And what is that gap? Ladies and gentlemen, the problem is very apparent. The problem is that people are not making that particular informed decision before they were supposed to make that kind of very impactful particular choice. And that kind of choice is something that is applicable to everyone. It's just that these individuals do not know how much of an impact it has to them. So how are we going to close the gap? This is where we enter Course Your Passion. Course Your Passion is a virtual mentoring platform on course advising. So what we want is people or students on their last 2 years in high school will actually be given enough time to think enough about what course they're most likely gonna take, so much so that they're going to pursue it as a career. It's highly psychological, but we'll try to make it, we'll try to figure out a threefold strategy on how this is gonna happen. So in Course Your Passion, we offer threefold strategy. First is interactive profiling. We want to try to assess all the possible factors that contribute of you making an informed choice. So we look at the skills and interests, your financial profile, the scholarships available in your area, your interests, the balances that you have to take into account, and many other factors. Virtual mentoring. We will matchmake you with a mentor who are highly experienced, people who are willing to give back to the community and say, I wanted to advise you on this particular interest. And lastly is in events. We want to link you as a high school student to events like Meetup Talks, for example, that tackle career advancement and things like that. So this is how the interface will actually look like. So in Course Your Passion, the UI will take into account the different particular factors like support group, the dream job, your inner child, for example, and then the algorithm will link you to a certain metric. The assessment will then lead you to 5 mentors. You will then be able to look up the profiles of these mentors and choose each of them who you'd like to connect. And then you can call them, send a message to them, or schedule an appointment. So what's the business model? The business model is actually a software as a service. We target entrepreneurship schools, like the one that's being owned by Marvin Agustin, and other schools that are actually offering their courses to high school students, because these are the very first schools that would more likely sell their courses to high school students. So that's our initial market. But we also matchmake you, so we are a broker. We match these entrepreneurship schools and other colleges to these mentors. So more than that, this is a profile target market that we're going to be initially targeting. So what's in it for mentors and why would they more likely give back? I take for example Tyrone, who sits right there at the back. Tyrone is an expert in web development. He told me he wanted to sign up as a mentor in the app. Actually, this is a rising trend in the West. A lot of successful people don't want profit. They don't need profit. They just want a platform to be able to give back to the community. With you being able to sign up to the platform, we don't just give you online badges where you can add to your LinkedIn profile that you are a mentor, but you can also establish a network with other mentors who who are actually part of our program. Our team is made up of me and Queenie only, but Queenie is not around today. I have 8 years of experience in digital marketing and creative branding. I have my own digital marketing agency. Queenie is a business development and market research consultant. Thank you.
Why does it have to be an app? Like, yeah, like why an app?
Yeah.
Why not a website?
That's a very great question. Actually, this is a responsive app, so it's applicable for Android, iPhone, and desktop browsers. The reason why we wanted it to be an app is because we want to capture all the crucial interaction points of a high school student when he thinks or discerns about, I want to take this course. So you kind of capture that when you're just a desktop and you're riding a jeepney and you saw another student in jeepney and then you said, I want to be a nurse. So what if there's an app that assists you with that particular decision wherever you are, whenever you are? That's the reason why it was an app, because it's it's supposed to capture all the interaction points when that discernment happens. Yes, sir.
I like your surname, Billones.
Yes, sir.
Unicorn.
Very.
Who are your competitors globally and locally? And then how do you screen mentors?
Okay. A lot that has been raised in the past 2 days. The first mentor they mentioned was Coursera, because Coursera actually offers courses. The difference was Coursera assumes already that you know what course to take. The platform assumes you do not know what course to take yet. So that's the difference. The second is locally, we take it locally, that's educacion.ph. They provide scholarships nearby areas. They told me they want to actually venture into what my app is heading into, which is behavioral already. But I think we'd like to explore the partnerships with Educacion, because if you look at the app, actually, it takes into account several factors, 9 actually, and Educacion is only focusing on scholarships right now. Yes.
What will you, sorry, go ahead, guys. What will you build first? The mentor network or the app?
Actually, we'd like to work for the 3-month milestone, ma'am, after this, actually, because it's launched just like last Friday, and it's just 2 of us working on this. We'd like to work on the interface, the functionality of the app before we launch it, and then after that, we will release it to the market and work on the network after. So we'll focus more on the building of the app for the next 3 months.
I'm not sure how you're going to make money. You said that you're going to get it from the schools.
Partner schools, ma'am.
But like, what's the business model? Like, how are you going to charge them? Is
Okay.
it an ad?
It's not going to be an ad. The app is supposed to be free for students. So it's free for students. It's inclusive that way. But the way Ayana, for example, there's this startup called Ayana. What they do is they sell their software to money remittance companies. So they approach these companies and then they tell them that you can use our software and then you can pay us in return. What we want for our app is to sell the software to entrepreneurship schools and other colleges, and then they can let their students use it for free. That's the business model. Because these are the schools that have a vested interest to advertise their colleges and courses to these high school students.
All right. Hey. Thank you so much.
This is
I'll let you know are giving their scores. The next team can set up their machines.
Thank you. Mas kuya. Oo nga pala. You can just hold it up. It's only 5 minutes. Not yet. Just put there. This one.
Flip it.
Can you enjoy?
I do enjoy it because I was also so young, so it's like I was
And how young was Brad?
Timer starts
it's 1 year.
Yeah.
Pretty young.
Grab in Malaysia. Philippines is 0. Difficult and it's challenging. But the difficult part is changing the mindset. Like people didn't even know the startups yet. People didn't even want to be hired. Like
Even though Uber was, I mean, you guys came in first.
yeah, we came first before.
Oh, was the Is that right?
Which one? Yeah.
Whoa, stick to it.
Yeah, we're like
Hi, good afternoon. Hello? Hi, good afternoon. My name is Tim, and I'd like to talk to you about a very glaring and real problem facing our society today. According to the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, 1.2 million individuals are at risk or will have difficulty finding jobs every year because of the difference between the experience that they have, the skill sets that they have, as compared to the skills that are required by businesses and companies. So according to the Department of Labor and Employment, of these 1.2 million applicants, only close to 400,000 will be hired on the spot. So that's a ratio of 1:3 applicants. That is very low. So the problem is what we call job misalignment. So under job misalignment, we have two problems. First is the problem of knowledge and awareness. These applicants or individuals, they have limited knowledge and awareness with regards to what kinds of training and what kinds of jobs they need to go for. So the types of jobs are high demand jobs and hard to fill jobs. The second problem is the problem of cost. So although these individuals may have the motivation to take additional courses, to study more, however, they don't have the financial capacity to do so. So that's where we come in. We are TrainLink, and we aim to address the problem of knowledge and awareness by providing a platform and database where the possible training courses and job offerings will be listed. And this will be coming from the Department of Labor and Education. So for the cost, we will solve this by getting different investors who will lend loans to the potential students, and the investor will earn interest from these loans that they will give to the students. Okay. So this is a preview of what our product will look like. So this is our homepage. And then as you can see, these are the different career options that the applicant can take. So these career options are either in-demand jobs or hard-to-fill jobs. So these are the list of courses that they can take. They can apply for funding through our platform. And these are the steps that they need to take in order to get a loan. So first, they just have to upload the requirements. And the requirements we will send to a third-party risk assessor. And then they will wait for our approval. And after they are approved, they will attend the review conducted by us. And finally, the student will take the loan. So for our business model, first, the investor funds a loan. They will course the loan through us, and then we will course the loan through the training provider. And then we will communicate with the training provider on the status of the student. And then if he graduates, he will repay the loan, and we will forward the interest and the proceeds of the loan back to the investor. So from an investor's standpoint, it will actually be beneficial for him in two ways. First, he will be able to impact the society in a good way, so he will be able to put his money to good use. Second, not only that, he will be able to reap benefits or reap the proceeds of the loan. So why invest in TrainLink? So we believe that the Philippine economy is an emerging economy. There's a lot of potential for growth. And one of the main economic drivers is human capital, so human resources. Unfortunately, with sectors like the BPO sector, they're at risk of diminishing because of automation, because of automated voice calls, because of artificial intelligence. So we aim to be able to solve this problem by correcting job misalignment. So by doing this, we're able to change the career focus of these individuals at risk to careers that have more growth potential and are more future-proof. So thank you very much.
Did you forecast the potential repayment percentage by graduates?
What do you mean, sir?
Like if I'm a lender, right? I
Yes,
always
sir.
wonder, if I loan you money, what's your repayment? Like if I loan money to 100 people, how much of them would default and how much of them would likely pay?
Sir, actually, we're right now working on a model to in order to give you that information. But we believe that it will be a high percentage because these employees we will screen beforehand. We will forward their information to a third party risk assessor, and once they receive a high credit rating from that, that's when we will approve the loans. So we're just an intermediary platform.
What establishes that it is in the employee or the person who wants to be employed has a skills gap? And what establishes that they will have to take a course and have to loan to skill up?
Okay, because the Department of Labor and Employment, they mentioned that there are two types of jobs that are looking for more applicants. So the first one is hard to fill jobs. These jobs are the jobs that need additional training, vocational courses, such as specialized fields like pulp, sorry, we have a list here of the different jobs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's is something you have to work on a little on the problem solution to
Yeah,
establish really that they're really desperate to skill up and
Yes,
desperate enough to take on a loan, pay for the training
Yes,
course.
Another question. Is your platform going to be focused on like industries? Because when you speak about like unemployment, it's kind of like everything. So
Yes.
is this focused on industries or how do you?
We will start to focus on industries such as the business BPO, the BPO industry in the Philippines. It's a huge driver of the real estate and the economy of the Philippines, and it's one of the most at-risk industries. So maybe we can start to look at.
But is it at
yeah.
risk because of AI and all of that, or?
Yeah, there are several reasons, but we aim to solve that by providing them alternative options, alternative careers or alternative skills that can shift their career to make them more future-proof and course them to more in-demand or hard-to-fill jobs. Yeah.
How are you gonna earn money? You take from the investor, or you?
Yes, we will take money from the loan, a percentage of the loan, a percentage of the interest of the loan. So it will be split between the platform and the investor. Yeah.
How many percent? And then how many percent for the investor?
We're looking at around not a high percentage, maybe around 2% a month. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. Training. We call on the next team to please prepare. Alright, let's give them a round of applause. Team Betmalu.
Are you ready? Okay, good evening ladies and gentlemen. We are Pet Malu, a pet food supplier in subscription based. So, any one of you has pets? Okay, how much do you spend per month for your pet food?
Nothing. No, just kidding. I don't feed him extra food.
2K.
Something
2K.
like that. Lower,
So actually,
lower.
we did some survey. We have 54 respondents, and 87% of them says that they feed their pets with pet food, and 59% feed them twice a day. Also, there is a 37% which buys 5 kilos to 10 kilos per month. Now, how much does owner spend per month? there are 40% who actually spends less than 1K, and there are 35% who actually spends more than up to 2,500. And from the survey, 50% of the owners has one common problem, and that is how do they feed their pets when you are not at home, right? So if twice a day, how? Now that is our problem. We have a solution. With Pet Malu, never run out of pet food for only 50 peso a day. With 1 year subscription, you will already have a free automated pet feeder. Now here is a simulation, and you can also try it.
And over there is our hardware. So if you click on this, you can play with the amount.
On a side note, we also had a validation from the cat outside.
I finished the whole food. Sorry.
Yes. Now we actually research about the pet food, pet feeder, and there are some which is cheap and some are expensive. Some has limited supply and others have huge amount of supply. But they have one big problem. They have jamming, food jamming. That is a no-no. Now what we did to lessen the jamming is how is making it shake, the container shake. While it shakes, it gives out the food. So no jamming will be done. And also, if it fails, you can already replace it for free. Now for our market size, we have a 1.4 million dog owners worldwide, and for Filipinos, there are around 17,750. Let's take about 10%, and that's around 1,775. Now for our business model, assuming that 1,775 dog owners only has one dog, then they will only spend 1,500 per month. Now that 1,500 per month, our revenue will be 2.6 million per month, and the per year will be 32 million per year. Now, look at this one. This is from Lazada, 279 per 450 grams. That is really expensive. Let's take about 5 kilos. They will have to spend about 3,000 or more. Now, if you can get the right supplier, you will get around 100 per kilo. Now, here is our cost per monthly subscription. Let's say the delivery fee is 200, and the food for up to maximum of 5 kilos will be 500 per month. The pet feeder, spread it out for 12 months, will cost around 2,500. Then, since it's spread out, 208 per month. The total will only be 908, giving us an income of 592. So how do we scale? Do you know about Food Panda? Actually, we want to be just like it. With Food Panda, we will be partnering with local food suppliers, and with our app, you can order whatever pet food you need, and we will deliver it to you with our hardware. Now, what is our plan? At first, we will just be giving out white label pet feeder, and while we're doing that, we will be having our hardware development for our prototyping, and once they renew their subscription, they will already get the new hardware. After some time, we will have an add-on features like selfie for the dogs, and also you can also check out the food supply on the app. So let us help you take care of your pets with Pet Malu. Happy pet, happy you. Now here's our team.
Ellie's part of your team.
Yes.
Nice. What if I had a maid? Would you reduce your total addressable market?
What?
What if some of us have a maid that can feed the dogs instead of Pet Malu? So your total addressable market will be narrowed down?
Yes.
Or
it will narrow down, but that's what our subscription will do also. So with our subscription, you will not really buy the pet feeder. It's about the pet food, not the pet feeder.
One more comment. You also forgot the cat owner, so I'm a cat owner. Like
It was only,
your TAM would be
Yes.
a lot bigger if you had
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I had a cat. It's gone now.
Oh,
forgot to feed
that's so
it.
sad.
I need pet Malu.
Did you calculate your customer acquisition cost? Like how will they know you and what does it cost for you to get one customer?
Okay.
Because you know that's where Food Panda failed,
I
right?
think the slide didn't show up, but we plan on partnering with Amazon, Lazada, Zoom, and other bank branches. And also for the advertisement, we will put it on Instagram, Facebook, and put it up on Kickstarter.
What's your margin like? Saka what will, your distribution channel, Lazada?
Lazada.
Talk to me later. Kilala ko si Inang. What's your margin like?
What do you mean?
Yes.
Kita.
Profit.
Well, as I stated,
Yeah, di ba 900?
908
908.
Something yung
cost.
No. You
Net
earn
profit per customer.
500.
Yung cost mo is 400.
Around
Tama
that.
ba?
900 cost is around 908.
SRP is 900.
SRP is 900.
Yeah. Then yung puhunan mo?
500.
Okay, so
500.
almost 2x.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand the problem really is that pet owners have a problem when their pets have to eat, and
Yes.
then the other problem is ordering pet food. So you're addressing two problems.
Not really addressing. Well, actually, we're addressing two problems. But what we're really addressing is the pet food. So, cause it is really expensive sometimes, where you have to, and also time consuming. If with our app you can already order it from us, and it will become cheaper than your usual pet food supplier.
So you're really focused on the cost of the pet food rather than really feeding the pet on time.
Yes.
Those are two different problems.
Yes.
One of the big difference.
It's an add-on, actually. That one is an add-on.
Okay. It will complicate your business model. Anyway.
Alright, let's give Pet Malu a round of applause. And this is our last team. Please prepare. Alright. So everyone is all welcome. Team in talent.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm so nervous, I can't. My check, yeah? Okay.
And then you need the...
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Javi Aguilar. I'm a music business management graduate, and I've been a musician for about 10 years, and I'm happy to present In Talent, creating peace of mind for artists and producers. So, what is the problem? The problem is twofold. One, artists experience a lot of unscrupulous and cheating producers who, when they go and play, they end up not getting paid. On the other hand, producers, often they get stood up by their artists, or the artists come in really late, or the artist comes in with their entire entourage that the production has to take care of. This is just the tip of the iceberg. One good example is a multi-award winning rapper named Quest. He had a contract with Malo Fest. So imagine driving from Metro Manila all the way to Bulacan to only find out that you're not getting paid. This is a serious problem, not just for the small people, but for people as big as Quest. We're not trying to protect the little guy, we are trying to protect everybody. How? With In Talent, an online community where artists and producers can connect, transact safely. Now, who is this for? Who is our market? We are initially starting in Metro Manila. So in Metro Manila, according to Zomato, we have about 165 bars. In each bar, you have about 5 acts. They get paid about 5,000 pesos. So we're looking at about 2 to 4 million pesos exchanging hands in one night. Now, next please. And yes, and Metro Manila alone. Now, how exactly does this work? Now, this is a prototype, so you'll have one profile for artists and one profile for producers. So, under artist, you're either a solo artist or a band. As a producer, you're a production group or a venue. Now, this is going to be in the perspective of the production group. So he creates his account, and then these are filters. You're looking for pop artists, rock artists. And once he logs in, there's going to be a filter where the database is going to show what kind of artists you're looking for. So he logs in, and he wants to hire, who's he going to hire? Okay, he wants to hire me. He looks at my page and he goes, oh, he looks like he can, he can play. Maybe he's cheap. I'll try to book him. So he books me. And a contract, a very simple contract comes out. Just put in all the necessary details and he sends the proposal. I receive the proposal and I look at it. I can either accept or give a counter offer. Once it is met, the money will go into the platform and 50% will go to me, to the artist, sorry. 50% will go to the artist and the other 50% will go after the contract has been fulfilled. Now, why should we look at InTalent? There are other ways to get gigs. Facebook is one very popular one. It is online, but it's not filtered. It's a hub for everything that you can search. Is it safe? How many fake accounts, how many dubious people put in fake news every day? That is why Facebook is not the best option. Word of mouth, under the assumption that you know a lot of people, that is helpful, I guess. Management is very tricky because it is online, it is filtered, but is it actually accessible, safe, and affordable? Accessible, no, because they're only looking for specific people. That's their business. Is it safe? How many times has management camped? Would they take advantage of artists? As an industry standard, 10 to 20% of their talent fees goes to management camps. We are not going to get something that big. Hence, it is also affordable. InTalent, online, it is filtered, accessible, safe, and affordable. Now, how are we going to make money? So everything, again, is on the platform. We are going to only charge 200 pesos flat rate from the talent fee. That is all. Now, we are looking at a 1 month projection of 520,000 pesos under the assumption we don't get 5 acts in 165 bars. We're only going to get 2 acts in 165 bars with an annual projection of 6 million in only Metro Manila. Next, please. So what do people think? We actually just sent them screenshots of the app. They asked no questions on what anything meant. Instead, they shared that yes, they like the concept. They feel like it's something that it works, and a lot of them just added what they wanted to see in the next reiteration. So why invest in us? Again, I'm Javi Aguilar. I'm head of the product design. I'm being guided by Mr. Moni Romana, who worked in Warner and Sony and also is a professor in Mint for music business management and marketing. Thank you. Sorry.
Why are you getting a flat fee instead of a percentage?
That's a very good question. A flat fee assures that we are growing with the artists because a lot of the newer artists, they would only get, like, if it would be like 10 to 20% of, let's say, 1,000, 100 to 200, those margins for the company are a little bit too small. However, if you would scale up, because we are marketing to all the artists, imagine if people would get paid, I don't know, 30,000 pesos, and we would do industry standards of 10% versus of 30,000, which is about 3,000 pesos. Something, it brings a lot of barriers to especially those growing artists. So we feel that we know that 200 pesos is safe for both the smaller players and the bigger players.
So in one night, how much can you make?
In one, in Metro Manila, 7 million a year.
What establishes that the bar owners are going to use this app and they want an app will solve the problem?
Very good question. So bars have this regular roster of artists. And there's this, sorry, the term escapes me, but in economics, every time that you would use the same product, your satisfaction goes down. And so the same roster of musicians playing in the same bar every weekend, you will have like a less turnout every time. So having this not only safeguards them from dubious artists, because I don't know if you're able to see, there was a rating on my page. They gave me a good rating. Thank you, Leif. And so those are not only is it safe, but they are now exposed to more and new artists ready to perform for their production or venue.
Any other questions? How are you going to grow that number of artists?
Oh, good question. So I think that goes hand in hand with customer acquisition. Okay, so yes, okay. So for customer acquisition, we actually kind of stole this from one of our mentors. He suggested that we actually create profiles for the artists already. We use that to gain traction and show that, hey, these producers are looking into your profile and they want to book you. Now we're going to make it so easy for them to link their profile. It's going to be just a click of a button from their Facebook account, because we know that a lot of artists and bands, they use Facebook as their initial fan page.
Last question. What do you think would be your biggest problem executing this?
Okay, so my biggest problem, one, is money. Initial startup, a conservative number would have been about 300 to 400,000 pesos. Plus, it is a lot of legwork for gathering the database. Thank you very much.
Alright, congratulations to all the teams. So let's give them a round of applause. Team Kind Up, Curator, Course Your Passion, Train Link, Pet Malu, and Talent. Again, let's give them a round of applause. Now, Rudy will guide our judges to the deliberation room.
I had a version din nakakawin. This one. Local version.
So, pa-play na lang.
What are the items for grabs or the prizes for all of the teams? So we would like to thank all of our sponsors for all of these things. Just to run through what the grand prize will be. So thank you, MyPhone. So we'll get MyPhone smartphones, watches, ready or not book signed by the author himself is here. And we also have Apple Boom Pods from Power Mac, A-Space co-working passes, Idea Space notebook, Apple Mosh Sync, that's also from Power Mac, and we also have AWS hoodies. By the way, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of the territory manager of AWS. George, where are you? There you go. So thank you so much for all of the hoodies. For the first place, so you also have phones, watches, co-working passes, books, Idea Space merchandise, and AWS hoodies. And I think you guys have the same prizes for the second place. So just to run through our partners, thank you so much, A-Space. Let's give them a round of applause for the cozy space for our event. And our silver sponsors. Thank you so much, Amihan. By the way, also an Amihan person. And PLDT Inalab, thank you so much for sponsoring dinner for day one. Thank you so much, Cabby team. They're here. Raise your hands. Startup Oasis, do we have here? Where is? I'm not sure where he is. And then we also would like to thank Hack to the Future for all of the MyPhone related items. And contributing partners, Idea Space. So we have here Goldie and also Diane, one of our judges. Feel that. Trisha, where are you? And Cubo, also you have a bunch, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of Nescafe Gold and Coffee Mate, and also thank you so much, The Office Project. And our community partners, Drupal Pilipinas, we also have it, they're doing our live stream, you can share it, it's on our Facebook page. So, Paul, raise your hand. And we also would like to thank DevCon, GDG Philippines, WordPress Philippines, Women Who Code Manila, Product Philippines, and Digital Ocean. And that's it. Congratulations again for doing all of those things for the last 3 days. So give yourself a round of applause. Whether a winner or not, you did your best, you did not quit, you presented, you shared everything you learned, all of the things that you and you listened to your mentor. So good job, guys. Hopefully you learned. May natutunan na kayo? Yes! That's perfect. So this is just a start. As what Zoe mentioned, Startup Weekend is not exactly a competition. It's really more of going through the process of building your own business. So from idea to a business. So what's the process? So later when you go out, you have other ideas. You know the process, you know what you need, you know what investors are looking for, you know what the expert says that are important, and hopefully you wrote them down or do it somewhere. And somehow we hope you were able to use them and share with your colleagues, share with your friends. Who knows, the people you share this one are going to be your co-founders in the future. Thank you. So just things again, Startup Weekend MNL. We hope you are now part of the alumni. So after this one, whenever you grow up, you're already part of the Startup Weekend alumni. Judges, coaches, speakers, and sponsors. Right now, if you need someone, you need to talk to a mentor, you need to talk to a judges. We, the organizers, are so happy to connect you. Even though they're already alumni of the different Startup Weekends, just let us know. We'll connect you. And round of applause to the organizers. So the organizers who made this one a month of planning. And so what's next for you? So focus on continue with the Startup Weekend. Teams, I'd like to share with you the teams you are right now. You've already worked with them. Sometimes your team is bigger than your idea. Your idea you might change, but still you already know who are the people you work with. Or sometimes if you think you want to explore your different ideas, but you already know these people. You will fail, and that's fine. At least you tried it. And hopefully don't stop learning. So there are a bunch of these are some of the resources from Techstars that you can explore. You have Startup Weekend, of course. I think the next Startup Weekend happening is in Cagayan de Oro. May I know sino dito yung from Cagayan de Oro? Aside from 3 people. None? Okay. So I think the next one is going to be Cagayan de Oro. That's going to be in April. And also Startup Digest. This is for Startup Digest.com. It's a calendar of all of startup-related events here in the Philippines. Oh, but this is for the Philippines, and then you'll find it. So feel free, you have all the links there. And Startup Week, Philippines haven't posted any Startup Week yet. So Startup Week is more of 1 week na puro startup-related events ng time. It could be Startup Weekend, a bunch of meetup, a bunch of hackathons, a workshop. And yeah, so what's next for you? You have your idea, you've created your business model, and sometimes you want to be part of, let's say you want to progress fast, to level up. And so there are those Techstars, a lot of mentors, programs, initiatives you can also be part of. So here, since we are all part of here, these are the resources we recommend you can explore. So let's say Idea Space. Right now, Idea Space is in a vetting process. If you want to be part of the Idea Space program, they will open it to you for October? Yeah, October. They have a lot of events every Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. Every Tuesday, they host an event in their Makati office. So feel free, you will learn a lot. They talk about the pitching, they talk about business model, they talk about design, a bunch of things here. It happens every Tuesday. And then we also have field them. So field them is open. If you want to submit your idea, that's funding that you can submit to field them are ongoing, and A-Space holds a lot of services as well. So not just this space, we also have an office in Makati, dalawa pala in Makati. The one in Gilbert, and there's also one in Timor Leste. So these are the resources that are related. Just go find this one. And yeah, so if you are not from, let's say, Metro Manila and you want to bring startup week and the thing, Mark wanted to bring this startup weekend in Bataan, talk to us. We will help you share the spread out startup weekend and popular stuff there to your city. If you're interested, we're opening up the registration booth there to sign up if you want to host startup weekend in your city. And also, if you want to sign up to register, so startup weekend Manila usually happens in a year. Once a year, but sometimes we host different verticals. So let's say in Cebu 2 months ago, they hosted Startup Weekend Cebu, and the vertical is just for youth. Or some other times they do just for education. Sometimes it's smart. Other people host Startup Weekend women. And then attend the next events in our city and check out other events in Startup Weekend anyway. And then, okay, how was it through? Hopefully you'll share your input with us. You'll send me a survey email. Let us know how we can improve the next startup weekend. And hopefully you had fun for this. Take it kayo. Yes, that's so awesome. Thank you. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and hope you can share what's the good thing, what are your other ideas and how we can make startup weekend even more fun. And share your experience with us. And after this event, you'll still check out the different posts you send, you share. Just use to have that startup weekend coming out. Alright. Ayan. Isa na tayo. Alam ko yung makawag pa. Diba? Anyway, I'm so proud of you guys. Good job. Okay, so when we're waiting, okay, Nika here has a request. Can we invite one person here to have a photo of love here on stage? Ngayon na ba? Or later na lang? Oo, later na lang pala. So, everyone, please stay tuned after the award. Let's have a photo of with each team and your members. May we invite all the judges in front, please? So that you can share. What? Yeah, all of the judges. Let's go.
How do we go there?
We wait. We find the way.
According to height, you go first.
Okay, so here we are. Let's give them a round of applause. They're spending their Sunday afternoon with us. Anderson, Nina. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, alright. Sige. So I'll turn over the mic to our judges to share more about the teams, what they think, and also I think I'll turn it over to them in announcing the winners as well. Okay?
Oh, just comment?
Yeah.
No, I think we'll all share something, so I'll just pick a couple. So I think, first of all, you all did a great job, so congratulations. I think there's two lenses to look at when you're doing startup weekends. One is that how viable the idea is, and just give yourself time to do that, because it's 2 days today. Second is how well you've taken advantage of the weekend. Like, did you use everything you're supposed to do? So my comments will emanate from those, right? Just so you know. So I have two favorites. And I guess we'll tell about who wins after. So, One, for me, curator was interesting. It was really, really good. I think one thing to highlight there is a real, it's not just a problem, but it's a real opportunity for the Philippines, because that's one natural resource we haven't really tapped quite well, which is our tourist talent. So from my perspective, so you guys did a good job with that. I think you took advantage of kind of what Startup Weekend was about. Put a team together, test your ideas, and then execute. And the execution was good. So if you need funding, number one. And the second was the Pet Mazoo. Malu. Why is it Pet Malu, by the way? Malu. Oh, wow. Okay, see, you would have had points if you explained that early. Anyway, I think that was super interesting in that you did have a mechanical demo and prototype in addition to your app, so that was super cool that you guys did that. And I think it's addressing a problem, so that was kind of cool. And everybody else is good. I just picked two, otherwise I would take the whole afternoon. But thank you guys, you guys did a good job. Thank you.
Hello. Hey, is this working?
Never mind.
Hey, oh, it's working? Okay. Kala ko it's just my voice. Okay, so I'm not, congrats to everyone and the team. Good job. I'm going to give feedback for the sake of giving constructive feedback. So I noticed that some of the teams would not be so focused. Parang they would talk about one problem and then propose a solution that's totally different. Or parang they're so broad in terms of the solutions that they're providing, but we're not really sure what you're trying to solve. So go back to the basics, right? But otherwise, good job. We're quite excited to present the winners. In fact, fun fact, we all agreed on the winners. Like there was no deliberation, so it's pretty clear. So we just said, kulang pa kaya. Sige, yun lang. Congrats.
Right. Congratulations to everyone. Yeah. This is my third Startup Weekend Manila as a judge, and I would say that I could see that this is one of the best ones I have attended. There has been much improvement. I see your effort. I see your hard work. I see your eye bags. Yeah. So top three favorites would be Pet Malu, Curator, and In Talent in no order. And what I wanted to have seen was a startup into artificial intelligence or blockchain technology. Yeah, those two. And make an ICO. Yeah. Anyway, God bless you all.
Hold on. I don't know if it's working. Okay, hi guys. So this is actually my first startup weekend. Oh, this is better. Yeah. And thanks. Thanks. So I super enjoyed it. So first, thank you so much for like sharing your ideas and your thoughts. It was great to hear like all of this. I think my main comment, which is actually for everyone, is that you guys are trying to design a solution for issues or challenges, right? So in that process, always think of your user. I see that some did a very good job at that, but others, maybe due to time or the research time in general, just really think about like your user. And if you don't know, like don't be shy. Go to your end user and ask the questions, because otherwise we cannot solve problems if we don't understand what our users feel, what they think, and how they would experience it. Yeah, but again, I think this was awesome. So hopefully if I'm here next year, then I would love to join too. Thanks.
So I made little notes for each team. So yeah, so what I really want to see in the end is really most of you or all of you still together in the next Idea Space Startup competition, and you send in your entry. So for in talent, I thought that your two-sided market is a tricky thing. So you may want to decide which side of the market you want to focus on as a next step. For Petmalu, manufacturing is really a big hurdle. So you have to really think whether which of the two problems you want to address first. That's a challenge. For Train Link, you need to establish the problem-solution fit because there's a gap there, and determine how much of the market is really desperate enough to take a course and take a loan. For Course Your Passion, I think you need to establish that the schools will indeed pay for the solution. It's always challenging to convince schools. Very challenging. Ask all the edtech startups. They have a challenge there. And curator, I think a challenge would be your team composition. Work on this if you want to pursue your growth hacking is not going to be enough. From what we've learned with travel startups, putting people on the ground, really going from one establishment to another is probably more effective. For Kinda, work with the problem-solution fit because this is a market where you really need to establish the data. You need to get the companies to convince the MSMEs. A lot of these MSMEs are run by kings. They have a little kingdom there. They want to run their way. So you need to, build the data there. So I think that's all. I'm going to give you just these notes. And again, I'd like you to join ideas-based competition and see how we can help you improve on your ideas.
Okay, Jonas, please stay. So we would like to announce the winners. Can we just pick one of our judges to announce the third place, second place? Ako na? Okay. Sige, ako na. Since binigyan na naman nila yung input, hopefully that was very valuable to all of you. May we call on, okay, may drum roll up. Okay, so the second place goes to Petmalu. Congratulations, you be called on the team. Everyone, please be here in front and with all of our judges. And sige, go. Second place. Alright.
Your Highness.
Yes, judges, please confess. Alright, congratulations. One more photo, please look at the photographers in front of you. Alright, congratulations, Petmalu. Then for our first place, Nika. Congratulations, Team in Talent. How are you? May champion ba? Okay, there's a champion. The first place and then champion. Sorry. Meron ka. In this first place. Kinabahan sila. Okay, good. First runner-up pala. First runner-up. Sorry. My fault.
Uwi na sana ako eh.
Alright. Congrats. Alright, congratulations, Team and Talent. And for Startup Weekend Manila 9th Edition Champion, Congrats, congrats, congrats. Dami yung baon. Wait. Okay, photo.
Happier.
Okay, happier photo. Alright, congratulations to all teams. You made it this far. Hopefully we get to see you in the next part of events. Congratulations, congratulations. And as requested by Nika, can we have per team photos here in front?
Okay, pwede mo na kumain while waiting.
Okay, sige.
We'll put it by.
Okay, so for now we have snacks, but also in the next 5 minutes we are going to play. And we also wedding same day edit, so I guess we call it same weekend edit. So we'll just show you the highlights of the weekend. But for now, stay tuned for we're setting it up. Congratulations to the whole team.
Is it ready? Wala pa? Game. Game? Audio okay na?
By the way, we would like to thank the developer team. So hindi lang sila developers, nag-video rin sila. Okay, 2 minutes.
Wala. Sige nga, try. Play mo. Ayun. Start. Game. Start. Good job.
Alright, good job there, team. And also thank you so much for that, for providing all of the volunteers for the weekend and also the weekly overnight. That's it, and that's a wrap. Congratulations everyone. Thank you, and have a great